Good morning, crypto family, and welcome back to another episode on the Coin Kings channel. I am your host, Down the Crypto TA. Just didn't want to leave you without anything for this morning. I did put a tweet out this morning. I put a couple of tweets out yesterday, also just keeping you up to date on the progress of price action and what I was looking for. Price to do, some probabilities of what price could do. But right now, we are seeing a little bit of weakness in the 1 hour time frame still. Yesterday, I highlighted, as we was coming up here into around about this golden pocket right here, that the exhaust, I could see like the overextension from the 15 and the 1 hour, where the 15-minute time frame was roughly getting into about an 80 on the RSI. Like we haven't seen that in quite a while. So that was a really strong move off of the 15-minute time frame. So I could see that we needed to balance out and come back in on that. So we kind of missed that golden pocket, which I was expecting that we were going to miss it anyway, and not immediately take the liquidity right there because it was just, it was such a fast move up, and the RSI was really, like I said, around about 80 at that moment on the 15-minute. And then the 1 hour also was showing that it was a bit overextended, but as it started to come back, cool off a little bit, I could see the momentum start to fade out. So I just gave an update this morning about that momentum, looking for us to kind of squeeze through here and see if we can't get that last move up in here to grab the liquidity in here and then cool off again and give the chart a little bit of time to just really show what it's trying to do. um if we're looking to get up higher, or if we're going to correct back down towards the low of the range. All right, so I got it blocked in like this right now. This is what I have to go off of. I could tell right now that this level right here, we see this wick, that wick side right there. Once we start to get below here, then it's more likely that we're going to come back down here and hit the bottom. Now we could potentially start to expand off of that bottom right there, potentially. Not saying that we are, but I'm just saying potentially. So if we're losing this right here, if we're losing the top side of the wick right here, and then we get down here to this low, and then we're not holding in there, then we could start to see a bit of an expansion and break the structure through here for a little bit more downside, possibly, like I said, even coming back down here towards that low. But right now, I'm betting on getting up here to take out the liquidity that's sitting over here. It would also finish out the measure move for the inverse head and shoulder right here. If you were doing like this, and I think that they both kind of like measured out to be the same. So there was also this here from this flag here. It looked like there was a little bit more to give in here in terms of this flag as well. So, yep, like I said, just trying to get in here and get this liquidity right there, right there. And then we probably put in like a bear div on that one on the 1 hour time frame by doing that. Okay. So that's what you'll be watching right here, unless it just go ahead and break out. And I did make an attempt. I made another attempt to open up a new long right in here. I was late, this morning when I got up and I looked at it. I was late to the party because I didn't have anything set for the move in here. And in fact, I gave an update on this too because I drew the fib retracement off of this low to this high right here, and I really didn't put much thought into the gap that was here. So the fair value gap, and once I realized, oh, okay, yeah, something's off, because I would have been looking for this to hold in here, and it actually did try right here with that little one candle right there. Uh, I realized, okay, I needed to drop the fib down to the low of the move to the upside, which is, not always looking to do that. And then it just hit perfectly with where the gap is. So I addressed that and I updated it here on my chart as well. So this is the actual fib pull from this high here down to the low here. And we are we do have a bit of compression in here. So the triangle actually makes sense because we do have the compression in here from the Bollinger Band too. If you were to take a look at your Bollingers, you'll see that. And here on the 1 hour time frame, and I was trying to get this out before this move actually happened, but I had already updated you on some of the things that I was looking at anyway. So, it lined up with what I had on the 4 hour and whatnot. But yeah, this little inverse head and shoulders right here, and then the breakout on that. This is an old fib, so I did put in there, hey, notation. This is the fib where I took the short from on Monday. Um, and I just left it in here. It just and it also gives reference to a number, so it just makes it a little easier to kind of than me having to type out stuff. But this is a fib pull from Monday when we got into the golden pocket and we got that golden pocket rejection. So if we finish out the move here for the inverse head and shoulder, then I would expect for us to get to that 786, that old 786, or you can look over here to your left and then you'll see the lows over here. So somewhere right in here within those lows is what I'd be looking for Bitcoin using the 1 hour time frame for reference. Um, let's see. Here's where we did break. We did a break in the momentum. So like if we're coming back up, we could see like a bear div just kind of tapping back into this top side of this trend line right here, unless we cool off a little bit more within that pattern, like coming back down to the lows of that pattern formation that I drew out over there, and then get that last leg up. Then maybe we can eliminate the chances for putting in some sort of a bear div here on the 1 hour time frame. But it just looks a little bit exhausted, in here too. We're starting to put in a little bit of a squeeze in here, so I'm going to be looking for some sort of a correction to the downside, just like we had the squeeze in here, and then we got the push out. So I'm going to be watching for that. Let me see if there was anything else through here. Like this is still doing pretty decent in here, that dark green color that you see right there. So this is still positive, even though that's why I'm just looking. That's why I'm hoping that the corrective formation for the triangle actually plays out and gets us back up here. And I don't know if I told you this, but I did not. I've been doing a lot of sports trading, so taking trades and not really taking profits. And I didn't take any profits on this drop that we got through here. At least not on one of the accounts. Now on the second account, I did take profit on it. Um, but the main account where I accidentally added onto my short position, which I had taken from higher, I'd added onto that short position, and that one dropped me down into here. That one I did not take profits on, so I'm looking to take profits on the move up from the position from down here yesterday into there. So we'll see how that goes. Otherwise, I'm just gonna hold on to both of them. One of them will cancel the other one. That is how I have it set up on the 4 hour time frame. So we basically came back into the you see the ascending trend line right here from the wedge structure that we had prior. So we wicked into that, and you can also take account for the lows that are through here as well. I think it's more so like this low through here. I don't even know if I still have like those. I probably wouldn't have it over here anyway. Um, but that's basically what we did there. If we, if our cool off just happens to not send us back down too low, then I'm thinking that we're going to get into the top side of this channel formation that we have here, and then maybe drop back into here for support, and then lift off and try to get into that 6 day fair value gap that I highlighted for Bitcoin, that I've been waiting on for. I think I started talking about that thing last week or the week before that, and we still haven't come to it yet. So just a little bit more hopium on that. In here, I know that we were somewhere around the mean, so we're at the mean in here. So we haven't even flipped over to. I mean, we're still neutral in here right now, so we haven't even flipped over into strength just yet on the 4 hour time frame. at the mean here on the 20 SMA as well, which means that let me put on the Bollinger Band so I can see because I haven't looked at that in here, but we're hitting the 20 SMA. Yep, we're hitting the 20 SMA. And like I said, if we're lucky, we'll make the full range move in here because we have the ability to do that with how volatility is sitting through here. We have the ability to do that to get up to here. And the way it's sloping, it, in my opinion, it would be like without an expansion. And then, like I said, we drop back into here. We, if we're lucky, we'll get up. Let's just say we get up from here into here. However, that looks like when it happens, and if it happens, back testing there, and then get that push out and up like that. That's what I would be looking for. And then you can already see that that looks like it might be a little bit of a problem. It won't have bullet structure. Let me just put it like that. But that's what we got going on right now. We're just attacking the mean right now, and it's holding us back as a little bit of resistance, especially with the extension on the 1 hour. And let me just flip back over here on this too. Okay, so RSI is like 59.60 right now. I think we got it probably about a 70 or something like that right in here. Yeah, so we're above 70. I mean, we're seeing some strength that we haven't really seen in a while. So that's really nice. It's really nice. Daily time frame. I'm still on this. I'm still on this channel. I'm still on what could be if the bullish scenario doesn't play out. What could be, we could come back down. We could take the liquidity from this low. And if we take the liquidity from this low, I would look at the golden pocket as the place that we get the reaction from and get the bounce away, just like yesterday, taking the liquidity from the low of that range that I highlighted and then dropping into that 786 and getting the reaction. That could be the same situation in here where, in the bearish case, taking the liquidity, tapping the 618 and then bouncing away from there. Um, or price comes down and it back tests the bottom side of the channel in here. That would be the other scenario. In the bearish case. In the bullish case, I'm looking for this fair value gap here to be tapped, which is coming from the 6-day time frame. So you just go to your 6-day time frame, find your and see your gap right here. I'll be looking for that, which essentially is taking the liquidity from this peak right here, from this high right here. Then we can talk about getting to the top side of the channel at that point, because that would be a little, actually we only have one red candle to the downside. It but we could still get into the top side of the challenge in the bullish case. But like I said in here with you, watching that Bollinger Band was crucial, simply because I knew that we didn't have the expansion, but we had the possibility of getting it because we were sitting below it. It wasn't showing that we had an expansion yesterday, as I stated, but we still were at risk of it happening. But we had so many hours left in that candle yesterday to even see if we were going to validate it down, or what was going to happen, if the bull scenario was going to play out, or if we were going to see the expansion. And then we came back up above it and we're holding it. And like I said, you saw no expansion. So we're just back at the squeeze phase in here, with the ability to again move where into the 6-day fair value gap, you know, taking the liquidity from here, maybe seeing a little bit of a rejection right there, and then chance to continue up here into the top side of the channel formation. We only have 2 taps up there to the top side, so it could be something like that. It could be as easy as us getting going from here to forgot, I can't lift my, going from here to here, and then maybe we could do that. That's something that can happen. Or we go from here to here, we see a little bit of a correction, and then we getting into the top side of the channel. Any one of those is a possibility. We just looking for the plan, and that's it. Nothing more than just looking for the plan. But That, my friend, worked out really, 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 really well. And so as you're seeing the rejection and you have the lows in here confluence with the standard deviation one in here as well for the daily time frame, as opposed to with the 4 hour, we're looking at it hitting the 20 SMA. And the way that this is sloped right here, you see how it sloped, and now it's closer. Like it makes more sense in here. Like if we were looking at this, and the reason why, you're not really expecting like a strong bounce from the area in here is because of this gap in between here and this wide mouth in here. And so it looks a lot better in here now, um, with the compression right through here and this slope actually coming closer to these candles in here. So it's much easier for price action to be able to make that journey to the 6 day. It's a lot easier for it to make that journey now. This makes a lot more sense seeing this 20 SMA get closer to price action to say, hey, I could break that. And that's how I look at it. I can break that. That's the same way I looked at the weekly back when we put in the bear flag, of course. But when I posted on it, it was exactly like this right here. Like it's closer to it. It makes more sense that now we have more of a chance to actually get above that 20 SMA and possibly into that 6 day fair value gap there. And then, the rest of what we could be looking at in here. We're not out the woods yet. We're not out the woods yet. And I'm gonna stay mindful of that we're not out the woods yet, but this is pretty decent through here right now. So hopefully we don't deviate too far, anything like that, because then that could just be a situation, like I said, where we come down and we test out the bearish scenario instead. But that looks pretty decent. In terms of the indicator down here. So like I said, we didn't have to take this out. So that's what I kept saying to you, that we didn't have to take this out. We can put in bullish divergence just looking at this low right here, which is what I was saying to you the other day. We could just do that and get the bullish divergence, because this is the pico low on the RSI for that low right there. So as it stood yesterday too, however we closed yesterday was going to be crucial in saying, hey, we could validate this bullish divergence. And it looks like we're doing that, especially if we get this close today above this candle, then we're validating the bullish divvy that's through here. As you can see, that is higher. So the RSI is higher and price action is, it closed lower. So that's that. Now, if we lose that, then yeah, you start to look over here for getting bullish divergence, which means we would have to close below this low at this point. If we don't play out the bullish divvy that's in here right now. So you have bull div on the daily time frame, no doubt about it. You have bullish divergence here. Just depends on how we're coming up in here too, to make sure we're invalidating. I'm looking for an explosive move. I mean, and that's for me. I'm looking for an explosive move. Nothing's changed in here in regards to this. Bears do still have control of the daily time frame. So, we're still wishing, hoping, and praying. Okay, we're still wishing, hoping, and praying, but you can see the positive signs here on the daily time frame. That's my point. You can see the positive signs in here. Get past these lows that we're tapping into. It's going to be better days ahead. But that's where we at in terms of resistance, whether you use the prior support level or whether you're using some sort of an indicator, 20 SMA, blah, 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 whatever it is. We're close. We're close. And let's see on the weekly if there was anything I needed to add in here on the weekly. Nope. I don't see anything that I needed to look back into here on the weekly time frame. This is just the extra hopium that I was looking for, but I had discussed this. I'm not going to go back into the $80,000 territory scenario again, even though I know that It's always a probability. It's like our last probability though, right now. But this is the range, and typically you would either take out the top side of the range, take out the lower side of the range, or maybe market makers want to take them both out. Like that's typically how that would go. So I mean, it's here, and I talked about it beforehand, and I gave two scenarios, which was that bullish one getting into here, which is the one I was favoring more, but we started to slip down a little bit. So I don't want to take us there again. Not right now. Anyway, I think that this is. I know that this is standard deviation two to the downside here for the weekly time frame. It may have moved slightly, but I keep it like this because this is no. This is good. This is from this week. So yeah, this is good. That's our standard deviation to the downside. So that gives confluence to the downside move with what I was saying, like taking the liquidity off of this low right here, just like yesterday. Take the liquidity off of this low, bounce and tap down into here and hitting the golden pocket and then getting the bounce away from that golden pocket. So speaking of which, that was this, and let me turn off this scenario right here. You can see how we are showing respect to that top side of that line right there right now. So yesterday it was like this, and this. So this was the range that we had yesterday, that we had identified this range right here, and I mentioned to you about, where your 786 is at, right? So when we were trying to get the move in here, and I said to you, don't, this is not a place I would tell you to take a short. I would not tell you to take a short right here. We're going to do better looking for a long. And then if we get a move up, then we can start talking about the shorts. But I was adamant with you yesterday that this is not where you want to look for a short at. And we called that on point. You did not want to look for a short in here. You wanted to look for a long. But we took it right in here, and it looked like it was going to work for us, and then it didn't. And so then, plan B of the things that I was identifying, like maybe taking the liquidity right here, dropping into the 786, getting the bounce away from the 786. And then, to my surprise, we did this extra move in here. I wasn't sure anymore about this right here because we started out looking at this long setup. This is what we started out with, trying to hold this range in here to get this move. That's how it went yesterday on the stream, trying to take it from within here with the a clean stop right here below this low right here, because if it was taking that out, then it increased the chances of this happening, and no sense in holding through that. Just get in down here, take the little L on the stop. I say you'll lose a little, and then if you winning, you winning a little, and then it might give you a higher low, and then you can add to that, and then that's what I said to you yesterday. So I got in on that long yesterday, from in here, and I think it's, yeah. So I'm up. This is the old one. I'll upload the new one because I'm still holding it. Now that just showed, well, actually, you know what? I could still use it, but this just showed where I entered that. And then yesterday, just me showing where that it's still at a marked price, which means I haven't taken any profit on it. So I still haven't taken a profit on this until we get in and take out that liquidity up there. That's what I'm waiting on, to take profit out of this trade right here. So that was that. I'm gonna look to try it again. So I'm telling you what I'm doing in here. I'm gonna look to try it again. Like I did late, at a late moment, open up a long position, even though I can see that 1 hour with the issues. I wanted to give it a chance and see if maybe it just invalidated and we just get up there to take that liquidity. But the weakness is there. Whatever I do, I'm not going to absolutely tell you to do, but that's what I did. So if it gets back down to the lower side of that channel, not channel, but that wedge, then I will make another attempt right there on opening on the second long position to push in. And as far as my position goes, that's the new card with me still hanging in here, waiting for that liquidity in here to be taken, and I am still holding that short. I am still holding that short. On the other one, I did take profit on that one. I had that one in here. The from the short, I did take. This is the one where I actually closed out, and then I have the other one, which you'll see the entry price is different, where I'm still sitting in it, just waiting to get stopped out if that's going to happen. Anyway, I don't feel like pulling up more and more P&L cards or anything like that, but just showing you that if I'm saying something, I'm actually trying to do it. I'm not just sitting around talking about it. And even if I am, I'm a good freaking technical analyst. I really am. I'm a good analyst and I can call some stuff pretty good. So I try to give good information, not always to just benefit myself, but to try to help other people without giving financial advice. I do try to do that. So if you're here, please smash the like button. I love doing what I do. I'm gonna do it anyway. It's just a matter of sharing it. That's all. Sharing is caring. I'm not charging you to draw nothing. Never mind. Never mind. Never mind. Stop it, gal. Stop it. Stop it. But this is what I was looking at yesterday. I actually did not. I mean, you saw what we was looking to get into here yesterday. That's why I had to put the question marks on it. Like, because when I look back at the chart, I saw us getting into this 786. But when I posted that, this candle was right here instead of what I was looking at earlier on the stream, the candle was right here, and I saw something that was like, you're gonna have a problem right here at the 786. So I posted it and said, hey, just kind of like look out for the 786 because everything met with this 786. The range in here where we had the one that was showing the downside, the one to the upside showed it right here at the 786, and then the extension out on the channel break for the measured move for the descending channel showed that it was right here too, coming in around this 786. So I said, okay, we'll probably cool off somewhere around in there. And then, of course, the most bullish thing happens right there because when you're bullish, which is what I was looking for yesterday, and I pulled it from this is the new idea over here, but I pulled it from like I said, I pulled it from here instead. So when you're bullish, I was looking for us to flag out, but I didn't take this into account right here. So with me looking for us to flag out where you want to look at for a flag, and I was telling you this yesterday too, and I told this to you before as well, your 382 retracement is going to be what you want to start looking at. If you feel like the market is moving bullishly, your 382 retracement is going to be your point of entry. So right here, that's all I'm looking at right here on this is the 382. Same thing I was looking at in here. And this is what this is. This is the 382. But like I said yesterday, I drew it from here and posted on it like that. So you can see how we skipped below it. And when I saw it, I was like, that just doesn't make sense to me. You can see how we tried to get a little reaction right there. And then I thought about it. It was like, God dang it. That freaking gap that I was, not really giving credit to that gap as I should have. And when I drew out the gap with the halfway marker, only showing the halfway marker is what I always do. It hit, and then right through here too, you got your. This is important right here. This triangle formation is important. Everything is just betting on this. Not it wasn't just the 382 in here. It's also the 200 EMA was betting on that too. So you can see where your 200, you drop down into that 200 EMA in here as well. So if we're coming down and we're losing this, that's what I'm saying. Like this is important. I'm gonna try it again right here, but this is the only place else that I can try it at. Because after that, then I just can't. I can't because we can be coming all the way back down. Okay, so we could fail for whatever reason. We could fail, and things could turn around. I thought maybe the State of the Union address was going to be a little bit of an issue, but thank goodness that wasn't. uh, Nothing came up on crypto. Thank goodness. Whining crypto people. "Oh, he didn't talk about crypto." It's okay. It's okay. Like, he doesn't have to talk like we got real world issues right now. We're talking about a freaking war right now. Like we got a lot of stuff going on. Crypto is not the main subject that the president should be talking about. It just isn't. But 200 EMA down here as well. Um, standard deviation 2 down here as well for that expansion that could possibly happen if we were to fail down there. Is this thing gonna try to? Let me see. It doesn't look like we're about to do anything. I'm on the 15. I'm on the 15. Maybe we are. I see us trying to push through here a little bit. I think I'm gonna sit out. I said I was gonna take it. I was only willing to try to do it if we were down here though, to re-enter again. I've already been stopped out one time for a little 1% loss. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna do it right in here. It still looks kind of sideways in my opinion. Still looks like we're a little bit sideways, like we're not going to expand or anything like that. Only if we get into here, only if we drop back down to here. And like I said, that's also where where you could get an expansion from as well. So you can see through here, like even this push up right now, this could be wrong. This could be wrong, and I could need to do it like that. You know, I do draw my most of the time. Most of the time, I draw my patterns around the squeeze. Uh, but that, so it could be something where I need to change the line in here or something like that. Because if it does break out here, it could still stall out right there. It doesn't look like we about to expand out or anything. Not with that 1 hour. It doesn't look like it. So um, I'm not really feeling this right now, but not really feeling it right now. It's like it's gonna get stopped out in here or something, in my opinion. Even if it pushes out, like I still wouldn't mind taking that little bit, but it'll get stopped out somewhere in here, I think. And then I just have to redraw this. It might get stopped out like, yeah, about right in here. Might get stopped out right there. That's gonna be the neckline for that. Looks like a little inverse. Eh, I'm not chasing. I could see it. I could see it was about to do that, but I'm not chasing that. And just stick with what I got, and I'll be happy with what I got. And uh, yeah, that. Oh yeah, it's still hitting that. Oh no, what was that? 400. It might still be hitting that 400. Anyway, it's I'm not a chaser of that. And just tell you what I'm not doing. I'm not a chaser of that because I'm set in my ways right now. But what I would be looking for, and like I said, this could be a situation where this line right here has to be redrawn up, something like that. I mean, whatever illusion it is with this inverse head and shoulders, I really don't like it at. I don't like seeing this at tops for me. I don't like seeing inverse head and shoulders at what I consider to be tops. So that's going to be that. And I hope I've explained, like, what what I'm looking for. I mean, like we can argue. Hey, we got a bigger inverse head and shoulder over. See, I did think about that. I did kind of think about that. Like the 4 hour could want to, this could be for the 4 hour, like this bigger version in here. That could be for the 4 hour. And so the 4 hour could want to come in a little bit more on this corrective end of this potential right shoulder. Let me show you that. So like right here, what we're looking at on the 15-minute time frame is let me just use this. It could be, like that. Could be. So I'm just gonna chill and wait, see who wants to do what. It could be like that. But I don't think there was really anything else in here for me to say about Bitcoin. I just wanted to give you guys something because I know it's Wednesday and I don't typically stream on a Wednesday. I did last Wednesday, and you know, I'm around a lot more these days than I was before. So I used to just need that break because I had some other responsibilities, but I'm good. Right here, what we were looking at, we got that tad bit right here. I kept harping and hollering about this midpoint in here. I told you to add this to your chart. Look for a rejection in here because we didn't get it over here. We actually just came back to the top side of the trend line in here for the ascending broad. And again, this is a bearish formation. That's why I had all that hopium about Bitcoin getting up into the 80s. You know, it was 80s, 80 to mid 80s, what I was looking for it. And maybe the market will show me some grace and say, "Girl, you got it." And I can pat myself on the back. But can't be too certain about that. But I was hollering about that, about catching this as resistance. I've heard the memes about the patterns and the circles. If you show up on this channel, you're gonna get patterns and circles. I highlight the stuff that I see, so you will get patterns and circles. I map my stuff out. I map it out, not just for myself, but also so you could comprehend what's actually happening in the chart. I map it out, and I'm good. I'm good at it too. So you're gonna get circles here and in my posts, and you're gonna get patterns. You're gonna get it. So killing me with the memes. It's the circles for me. It's the triangles. They work. They work. They work with showing you like price is trapped. There's a fight. Important stuff. How is it not important stuff? All right, Bitcoin's still in here trying. I'm not gonna stay on this for too long. Gold. Let me hit gold up with you. Um, oh, you gotta be such a child. Oh.
Send in whole market. Send it.
So gold, I've been working off of the 4 hour with gold in here. I was showing you yesterday, just trapping the price in between the triangle in here. Yep, another pattern. There you go. Trapping it in between in here, and ain't got no problems with doing it. I do what makes sense. I look at other stuff with it, and it makes sense. Um, right here, when we got that drop down out of here, it was just to the 382. So we're still holding above that 382 as well. It's showing some exhaustion in here, not following through, but it is showing some exhaustion in here. Something else that I was noticing in here too, it's also holding up on, yep, another line because markets trend, and these are called trend lines. Change this. It's called trend lines. So you can see that that's a clean bounce off of that trend line from this bearish formation that it did get this break above. It bounced off of that trend line, bounced off of that 382. So it's still holding strong, even though it's showing like, at least on the from the RSI perspective, that momentum is starting to fade a little bit. It's still in a bullish state because it's holding that 382. That's the most shallow place you can come back to, and this thing be bullish. Okay. So just note that you start to lose this right here where you start closing back below here. I would at least allow that to happen before you get too bearish on gold in here. At least allow that to happen. You could go about that by doing, because it's like this, and it is something that you would need to turn lines off, turn can wicks off, and do a line bias on. But it's like that. It's like that. So maybe it maybe it chops about over here before you see where it connected right there, and then break in here like that. That could be the case. Either way it goes, it's still sideways, and you really want to see it get back down into here or drop back down here into that prior support level right there. Since it's already tapped the golden pocket, and we saw that it was already, yeah, tapped into the golden pocket in here. And the only other place I would see it getting to, if it's going to continue to hold bullish, because it's still holding bullishly, can't get too bearish in the moment, it's still holding bullishly, at 786. And then I would just follow the, whatever you want to, the trend, follow the trend with that. The trend right now seems to still have a little bit of strength around this level. Because remember, we just flipped that support, that resistance. We just flipped that resistance, which was I know I didn't delete it. Hmm. I don't know. Okay, yeah, we had just flipped this resistance in here, so we still holding the support. So you can't really get bearish on gold right now. You really can't. We just flipped it into support. At least with that back test right there is support. So if anything, like I said, it has to break below this neckline right here, like the close below this neckline right here. Otherwise, I'm looking forward to getting to the 786. That's what I'm looking for right now with gold. I said right here, like you can see like where it broke right here, and it has this squeeze in here. But like I said to you yesterday too, like this can go on for a while where it can just continue to try to squeeze its way up, and the best we get is what we got these other times where we got this little correction, that little correction right there. I think we had also got one right here from where the Bollinger Band said, hey, you're extended. We got the X, we got the X, we got that. This could, this could take a while for something, more catastrophic like that. Like it could take a while, even though we have that squeeze down there on that indicator. That could take a while for that happens. And like even right here, it didn't go too far on the one that we got right here. didn't go too far on that one either. So still holding 20 SMA. Yeah. So be careful trying to be too bearish on it. If you were gonna take a short, I mean, just have clear invalidation above here. That's what I would just say to you. If you're gonna do it, if you're gonna do it, just have a clear invalidation above here. Because if it, I mean, if you want to set it away from it, you can. Um, and use like a ATR, trailing ATR, something like that. And then looking forward to, that's a 3-1 at least. So looking forward to get back down into here. I'm still, ooh, that was a lot. I am still, holding on by a thread here off of, I don't have that much left in this, so it really doesn't do anything for me. I ain't added to it. I didn't do anything on it, and that was just the one that we took. I'm still holding the one that was mentioned over here, so just still holding that. Anyway, Bitcoin. Yeah, like I said, I might have to move that top line. I don't. I'm not. I'm not. I'm not interested in the break happening right here with the resistance. Now, if it's saying just if it blasts off, then I just work with what I already have in the market. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. Because for me, it doesn't. It didn't look like. I mean, I could see the support that came in right there too. That might have been keeping it from coming all the way back down here, and that's it's a different type of different type of ribbons, moving averages, but it's right here, and you can see it. Like I could see it right through here, like trying to hold that. I could see it was doing that with that moving average right there, but naturally you're still going to be hitting some resistance in here. Now it probably will break it, and it might it might. So you got that other moving average right there, and then that Bollinger sitting up there too. So in that trend, they all three are the same. So if I get this break right here, that's gonna be nice. So if you get that break right through here, get that break, get that break, then then you can be well on your way back down here, which it probably will be bearish, and so they need, yeah, it is a need to fight for that. I just don't see that 1 hour as. Mm, huh, uh, we there. We just tapped it. Mm. We just tapped it. I'm just messing with y'all. I was like, let me put some circles on this. I'm just messing with y'all. Nah. But let's see what Bitcoin wants to do. I guess I just get a payday off of that other one if it wants to if it wants to do something more. It ain't for me. It ain't for me. Uh, See, the other thing we did yesterday too, I was really hoping like when Bitcoin, when I saw this right here, and I saw some other resistance we were hitting too, because we were hitting the top side of the dynamic cloud. So when I saw that, I was hoping that with this right here, that it would force the cloud to move, and show some additional strength coming into the 1 hour. It didn't, and that I don't like. I hate that it didn't. I don't know when that's gonna come in. Maybe we could. I don't know. I don't know what could happen. I'm looking at the probabilities of it not, of it failing in here, with taking that liquid. Well, I'm looking at it taking the liquidity, absolutely, but I'm looking at a fail from there. Maybe that could give us that reaction that I want to see off of that QTD. Because when I'm looking at it over here, we just tapped the top side of the cloud yesterday, and then that was it. So I figured, okay, maybe we're on our way to some sort of a bullish setup to come. But you can see right in here where it was tapping the top side of the cloud right here, not really pushing past that. And then I suspected that we were going to, put in some sort of a flag or something like that, like I was saying yesterday. And I was, thinking maybe that flag taps into like the 382, this cloud is going to move or something like that. But it's still just sideways. It tells me a lot when it's still just sideways. I don't really care for flat sideways. I want to see it um, crawl underneath price action. But didn't get that. Did not get that. 66223. Trigger me. Take some profit. It's pushing, but it's not showing it has strength. It's one of those early morning, moves that we always get in the morning. You know, it's not showing that it has strength. Oh yeah, and the tap here too was also the dynamic cloud. So everything lined up for, hey, this, say you drew that wrong yesterday, right there. And I tried this long over here, like I said, because I saw us about to break. I saw the potential of us breaking the upside of this cloud, well, this white line breaking the upside of this cloud, that which usually used to like a nice little move. It didn't that time. It failed, and I was like, I'm gonna sit it out and just kind of wait and see if I can't get it down here. But it's not giving it to me. I can forget about that now. That's uh, that's a done deal. Yeah, it doesn't show it has strength. It's like the daily situation where we broke the bands and we still have the potential to expand. Don't get it twisted. We do still have the potential to expand. It's just showing that the move right now um, doesn't have actual strength back in it. Don't mean the next candle can't open up and have it. It's just showing that this one really doesn't, or at least as it stands right now, it doesn't. It doesn't change that that move is happening. It just doesn't show that it has strength. You can see it right here. It doesn't show that it has strength. It didn't do. It's not doing. It just turned down a little bit. It's not. It's not doing that. It do that, then it's a different. It's a different ball game. Always looking for it to do that. Since it's trying to push up, I want to see it do that. I want to see it do that. I want to see it do that. Do that. It ain't doing that. You know, see, it was late doing it over here. So like I said, doesn't absolutely negate it, but it's not in the moment. I don't see anything back in it. At 4 hour ish, dang. 4 hour makes me want to get inside my head, which I'm not gonna do. At some point, I know it's gonna push through that mean. At least I'm hoping that at some point it does. I just don't want it to be right now. Less than a minute left on this candle. I guess if this is expected to work, then it should not come back below this candle right here. Like any other candles that open will not come back below that candle. That's where the momentum is feeding off of, how that line popped out right there. You shouldn't see it come back down below that. So it'd be like over here, like how when let's just say, yeah, when this one right here was trying to show some momentum in it, which I got in the candle before that. My expectation is that it doesn't come back and below here. It doesn't come back below this candle, and that might be good. Dang. Yeah, it can't come back below this candle. So let's just say that you got FOMO. If you got FOMO, it would be like this because you're not looking for it to come back below that candle right there. So your FOMO would be like this. Like you can put it on the dead set of that candle low right there. It shouldn't come back down here to that low if you got FOMO. And that's not enough risk. I'll at least get a 3 out of it. I got FOMO, but I got a position open, so I know to just leave it alone, and I can wait. But if you got FOMO, then that is what you would be expecting. Hey, don't come back below that. My strength came in right here. I should not come back below there. In fact, in my opinion, it would be better if you didn't come back below this candle right here. This one would be better if it didn't come back below that. But from a technical standpoint, you should not be coming back to that. You are still inside the Bollinger. Even though it pushed through that trend line, it is still inside the Bollinger. All right, wants to hold. Wants to hold. Let's see. I should have just took that and not been stubborn, but I'm not been not been stubborn. Sorry about that noise. Should have just not been stubborn. It was it's low probably. It was yeah. Nothing. Nothing. It's not out of the woods, but nothing. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's not bad though. Thing on 1 hour. I think that was cheap. Let me see. It's like a less than 50. Yeah, less than a point 50. Less than a half percent. That's cheap. Mhm. And now it's doing absolutely nothing. Can you tell me how to get to Sesame Street? Let me see what that was. Bullish. The bullish duo. God dang you, bullish duo. The bullish duo. It was the bullish duo. I'm just gonna play around a little bit right here. Well, I'm gonna rename one called the bearish duo. And it'll be red. That's what I'm gonna do. Bearish duo. Save. All right. So now I got a bearish duo. Naturally, it's gonna react around resistance. Like I said, it's not moving with solid strength because it's still capturing. It's still caught inside of the Bollinger. Still caught inside of it. No expansion. But for the FOMO, it shouldn't come back down here. Personally, I like it not coming below that, but it shouldn't come back below that if this really had any tailwind behind it. And you'll see a little red triangle pop up too if it's when it's major major, or not necessarily major major, but um, if it's possible of invalidating that, you'll see a little triangle pop out. And that little triangle will say, hey, that was wrong. Come on, Biddy. Thing is, yesterday when we did this, I did try to TP on my short, on that other short. I did try to TP on it. It just it wouldn't let me. It moved so quick, and then I could have tried again. Of course, I didn't want to, because I had all of this time through here to do it again, and I just didn't. So, and it's just the second, the other short. I haven't checked chat. I'm sure the Corn King, if something came in, then he text something. Okay, so nothing there. All right, cool. Nobody likes to talk to me. Which I'm just here for the TA. Come on, Biddy. And let's just say that this is, which again, I'm not the fondest of a Head and Shoulders at a place like this, but try not to go over that. Make sure I'm not over it. Okay. I don't think it looks any different than what we're looking at on the 1 hour. Yeah. So definitely grabs that. 66, 642. And over here it's 67. Yeah, that's right. 67 over there. You don't need this line. I'm going to take that away. It was that new 4 hour candle that we had open there too. Um, that gave us that boost. That's the 4 hour is attempting to get above that mean. Hmm. Yeah, still not showing strength. That 200, it just settled right here at this low too. It just settled right down there too. Just that 1 hour. Let's see that 3 minute. Let's see it trying to flag a little bit. See that just tapped 80. Let's go Bitcoin. I realize I have zero music playing. I usually have something, for my awkward silent moments. And I have absolutely nothing playing right now. Let me just throw something on. So I usually do like the little world music thing. All right, we're going. We're going. We're going. Hmm. See that 1 hour flipped up a little bit right there. All green across the board right now. Hopefully that maintains. Hopefully it maintains. Would have been better if I just accepted the fact that, you know, if I'd have just accepted it from here. I didn't. And then I didn't. Uh, Mm-mm-mm. All right, Betty. Look at the liquidation heating up. Okay, so we just tapped. Refresh and make sure that's right. Okay, so we just tapped into uh, the liquidity that was through here. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, we get this liquidity right here, which sits up a bit higher than this, which would be about that the move about 67,000 from what we have on the 1 hour, finishing out that inverse head and shoulder, which is the same as this inverse that's right here, this larger one right here. Yeah, like I said, potentially, actually, the one for the four that I was looking at, probably not gonna. I don't know. Maybe that could do four. I don't like it for four, but it doesn't make me right. With that liquidity, I'm just gonna flash it over here on liquidity for you real quick. But that liquidity sits right in here. This is actually this is 66.7. I'm really looking at 67 personally, but that's 66.7. That's actually where we have the take profit at on this right here, 66.7. That's ironic. That's that's interesting. 'Cause that reads 66.7 too. Quite coincidence. A lot of liquidity built up below us. We had just tapped the top side of the dynamic cloud. Still looking for us to make that. Remember, I said keep that number in head too. We just hit it. 66223. That also meant that we hit that um, diagonal trend line on that 4 hour time frame from where we had the little triangle formation. That's what that also means as well. just wrapped. Right there. I'm a little skeptical until I see that, you know, until I see something change on that 1 hour. Personally, I'm a little skeptical, but that means that, I mean, we got like 3 hours left on that 4 hour candle though. But if that 4 hour candle, if the 4 hour time frame itself is preparing to go higher, then you'll get more out of this bit right here. Um, might chop around a little bit trying to get it, but could be a good week. Hope so. I really don't want the bearish case to play out, so I really hope so. If I can't find Oh yeah, let's talk about it while we're here. Right here on this 1 hour time frame, right here where sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, because it is starting to squeeze together in here. So it might not be as big of a situation. But right in here, you can see how you're going to come into that 200 EMA right here at the golden pocket. Or I mean, it's an old fib, but you can still use the numbers nonetheless. You come into something right there. Um, I don't think it'll be you just absolutely tap it and then reject because we're gonna get this liquidity. We're gonna get that. We're gonna get this, and we're gonna get that, in my opinion. But just know that. And then this is a burger. This could be a nothing burger, but that is a burger. So, which is the liquidity that sits up here. This sits up here with this huge gap, huge gap. Just wanted to throw that out there as far as your EMAs are concerned. It's one, just 1 hour. And let's see what we look like right here. Okay, but again, looks like we do need to uh, identify what's happening through here. Because that trend line is running right off of that low. That tells me that we need to identify the situation through here. We don't necessarily have to draw a pattern on it or anything like that, but definitely you want to follow your trend on that. You got one. You do have one. I don't know why that music is jumping. It just is. It almost tempts me to not want to close out my short position right there, 'cause I just feel like I'm just gonna, that position is just gonna be closed out right there because I said it that way, and then it's gonna correct a little bit. Like I can still get something out of it if I leave it open, but instead of having to reopen again, it's just another tap into the top side of the dynamic cloud. Which again is 66,223. Getting that little tweezer top like we did yesterday right now. Got the little tweezer top right here yesterday. Trying to get through that point. That could be a problem right now. Outside of that trend line, I really don't see anything on the 4 hour. Not at this resistance. Yeah, we clean flipped that 20 SMA. Like we cleanly flipped that 20 SMA on that 4 hour. We are so above it. So it's not a problem anymore. That's cool. That's not a problem anymore. At least not right now. You want to see that and see how we flipped it. We flipped that. That's why we started to push up a lot easier through that break on that other time frame because we flipped it right there. That's what I'm saying. Like on the daily, like that, that suggests get up there. We'll have a lot easier time flipping it anytime it's laying up against price action like that. It's a lot easier to flip it. So we anywhere near that during our daily close, we could just pop our little heads up above it, be looking to get into standard one and then possibly standard two for that top side. Standard one right now, 66845. I just usually go with wherever it is and just leave it because it will fluctuate a little bit. But I just go with that. But that takes care of that liquidity sitting over here. You see how long it's been taking us to get back to that momentum line right there. That right there. It's pretty decent. Come on, Bitcoin. Mm. All right, guys. You know what? I am past my streaming time right about now, and I said I was gonna make this, quick, but I gave you the full service today. You know what I'm looking for in here, which is basically taking this liquidity in here. Um, we look pretty decent in regards to the 4 hour right now. The 1 hour is a concern for me, and it's gonna remain a concern for me until I see something different. But once I can identify some sort of a change shifting on that 4 hour time frame, I am gonna update you on X with that information and share the chart with you on that too. I would consider an invalidation. You saw how I moved this line up to this pivot right here. Uh, Possibly you can trail that with like your fib. Trail that with your fib pull. I see the liquidity being taken, and then maybe the 1 hour wants to pull back a little bit more off of that. The 4 hour, the 20 SMA, I mean the 200 EMA is right here, but it doesn't mean we can't reach for the liquidity in here and then see the rejection. The measured move is up here at 67, and then over here, of course, what we saw with the Bollinger Band. If you just put on your Bollinger Band, and I showed you how if you don't have, because this, I know that there's one in here. That has like the multiple bands that you can just put two on the chart and just put two on the chart and just that's it. Just put two on the chart. So usually it comes back into the standard deviation one, which again is sitting around 66,830, which is above this high. And then if we're lucky, after chopping around a bit, we can get to the top side of this move right here. And then the rest, what I've already talked about and posted as well. Is in the table. And don't forget the downside activity that, can't have an upside scenario and not have a downside scenario. I'm starting to lose my voice here too. I didn't have any coffee this morning. That's funny. No coffee this morning. These little lows is a bit of a headache. Those lows are a little bit of a headache. That's your standard deviation one, too. If you saw that, that's your standard one right there. Once we get past them lows, nothing can stop us though. Once we get past them lows, that we hammering that right here. Once we get past that, I need to sink that trend line in. So it's there now. I can see it. Because that's the only resistance we have in getting up on that daily time frame is those lows right there. The rest of it'll be highs and that'll be taking liquidity. That'll be however we react around liquidity from that point. But right now, we're not getting past those lows. All right. So you know what you're looking at. You can see where your resistance is. You can see that that's those lows, and we've been struggling with those lows for a minute because they were support over through here and resistance ever since. So, but once we can see the daily, once the daily actually breaks through those lows, though, that's when we can say that we're going to hit those higher targets. And if we keep failing on it, then that could be, it could be the rejection that gives us that bearish scenario. It could be. So I'm not gonna say it can't be because it could be. We have to look at all things, and that's a possibility. So um, my short is still in play until we get into that liquidity. That's why I like maybe I should cancel on getting stopped out of my short in here because um, unless we're pushing through here with force, I'm just gonna get stopped out for no reason, just for that. I mean, it's never a good idea to move your stop. But that's my thoughts right now. Like, why get stopped out and then have to re-enter? Because it could just like do a quick wick through here. We saw all the resistance that we're facing right in here. As much as I want to stick around with you, I need to get going, and I just have to update over on X. So if you want to get those updates, you can follow me if you're not already following me at Down to Crypto TA on X. Also follow the Coin King. It's DA at the beginning. D as in diamond, A as in alpha, Coin King. And then we'll see how this goes. I still think that this is pretty accurate. It started to come up a little bit. If you just follow along with like moving averages or something like that, it started to come up a little bit. But the trend line should be like that, like it is off of the daily. I mean, the 1 hour, the way it's drawn off of the 1 hour as well. It looks like it was pushed in a little bit more like this earlier, but that looks about right right now. You can make it invalid. I mean, you've already done more than I think you've done like yeah, I mean, just a 1 to 1 at least already. 2 to 1 probably would have been taking out this high right here, but you can leave your stop as it is if you prefer, because we shouldn't come back and invalidate this. But I do see a reason for an invalidation around this top right here. I do. I see a reason for the invalidation there. And this is for the FOMO people instead of, and I'm sorry. I mean, I said it, but I just said I wasn't interested in it. And sometimes people just want to do what you're doing. So uh, I should have been willing to say you can get risk on right here and then use the low as the invalidation. That would have been better. It, it is what it is right now. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Enjoy the rest of your day. Look out for my post, okay?